Be me. 37F, Senior Product Manager at a tech company in San Francisco. Been in tech for 12 years fighting the good fight. Dealing with bro culture, mansplaining, being the only woman in meetings. Pushing for diversity initiatives and calling out bias constantly. Get recruited by a German automotive tech company in Munich. Big salary increase, leadership role, chance to live in Europe. Everyone tells me Germany is so progressive and equal. Figure this is my chance to work somewhere that actually values women. Accept the offer, pack up my life, move to Munich. Company sets me up in a nice apartment in Schwabing. Start work on a Monday, excited to finally be somewhere enlightened. First day, and I immediately notice something off. The product team I'm joining has 15 people. 12 men, 3 women, including me. Engineering team next door is maybe 25 men and 2 women. Leadership floor, almost all men except HR and communications. This looks exactly like every American tech company I've worked at. My boss Klaus is German, been with the company 20 years. He's polite and professional during our first meeting. Explains that Germans value direct communication and work-life balance. Nobody works past 6. We take our full lunch breaks. Vacation is sacred. People actually disconnect. This all sounds amazing, but I'm already seeing red flags. Week 1, and I'm in my first product planning meeting. Present my roadmap, ask for input and feedback. The men in the room immediately start poking holes. Not in a collaborative way, in a dismissive way. One guy says that approach won't work with German customers. Another says I clearly don't understand the market yet. Klaus doesn't intervene, just lets them critique everything. After the meeting, I go to his office. Tell him I felt undermined and dismissed in there. He looks confused, they were just giving feedback. That felt like more than feedback, that felt personal. Klaus says Germans are direct. It's not personal, it's honest. But they wouldn't talk to a male PM like that, I push back. He sighs, in Germany we don't assume everything is about gender. Maybe they just disagree with your strategy. I leave frustrated. This is the same dismissal I faced in America. Just wrapped in we're direct, not sexist language. Month 2, and I'm noticing more patterns. The 3 women on my team are all in junior or mid-level roles. They're talented, but none seem interested in promotion. I ask one of them, Lisa, about her career goals over coffee. She says she's happy where she is, doesn't want management stress. Plans to have kids in a few years, wants to keep work manageable. But don't you want to break through barriers, I ask. Lead teams, shape strategy, make an impact. She looks at me strangely. I make impact in my current role. I don't need a title to matter. This bothers me, sounds like internalized limitations. I bring it up in a leadership meeting. Suggest we need programs to encourage women into leadership. Mentorship, sponsorship, active promotion of female talent. Klaus asks if any women have expressed wanting these programs. Well, no, but that's because they don't know it's possible. He says we promote based on merit and interest. If women want leadership, they pursue it. This sounds like every excuse I've heard for maintaining status quo. Month 3, and the work-life balance thing starts confusing me. Everyone really does leave at 6. Nobody checks email after hours or on weekends. Vacation requests are approved without guilt or negotiation. But here's what I notice. The women on my team use this flexibility constantly. Leaving early for kids, taking extended leave, working reduced hours. The men mostly work standard hours because their wives handle home. So the flexibility benefits women, but also keeps them junior. Because they're working less, earning less, advancing slower. I bring this up with Klaus. Isn't this just reinforcing traditional gender roles? Women taking more flexibility, men advancing further. He looks genuinely puzzled by my framing. We offer flexibility so people can choose their priorities. If women choose family over career, that's their right. But they're not really choosing, I argue, they're being constrained by societal expectations and childcare norms. Klaus says this is very American thinking. Germans separate work and life. It's not about advancement. Month 4, and I noticed something at a company event. The women cluster together talking about kids and life. The men cluster together talking about cars and sports. Nobody seems bothered by this self-segregation. In America, we'd see this as a problem to solve. Here, everyone seems comfortable in their groups. I try to bridge the gap, join the men's conversation. They're polite, but the dynamic feels off. Switch to the women's group, they're talking about school pickup logistics. I don't have kids, don't have much to contribute. End up standing alone feeling like an outsider. One of the German women, Martina, comes over. Asks if I'm okay. I say I'm just adjusting. She says it must be very different from America. There, everyone wants to be important at work. Here we just want to do good work and go home. I ask if she ever feels limited as a woman. She thinks about it, sometimes yes. But mostly she feels lucky to have security and time. Her sister in London works 80-hour weeks, never sees her kids. Martina works 40 hours, has hobbies and family time. Which life is better for women? She asks. I don't have a good answer. Month 5, and I'm asked to present at a leadership summit about bringing American innovation to German processes. Prepare a presentation about agile methodology and rapid iteration. Include a section about diversity driving innovation. Show statistics about diverse teams outperforming homogeneous ones. The presentation goes well until I get to the diversity section. One of the executives, Jürgen, raises his hand. Says diversity is important, but we can't force it. That German law actually restricts how we can recruit based on demographics. That focusing too much on identity distracts from capability. I push back, saying you can't separate identity from capability. That bias affects who we see as capable. He responds that this is American identity politics. That Germans focus on qualifications, not categories. The room gets uncomfortable. Klaus changes the subject. After the summit, he pulls me aside. Says I need to understand the cultural context better. That American-style diversity conversations don't translate here. That Germans see themselves as beyond these American problems. But they have the same gender imbalances, I argue. Maybe, he says, but we approach them differently. Month 6, and I'm invited to a women's networking event. Organized by a professional women's group in Munich. Think finally, people who will understand my frustrations. Get there, and it's about 30 professional women. Start talking to them about workplace gender dynamics. Most of them work in traditionally female fields. HR, marketing, communications, education. A few in tech and engineering, but not many. I ask how they deal with being underrepresented. One woman says she doesn't think about it much. She's good at her job, gets paid well, has flexibility. Another says German men are respectful compared to other countries. That she's grateful for the strong labor protections here. Wait, I say, but don't you want more women in leadership? Don't you want equal representation in technical fields? One woman responds, why is equal representation the goal? If women choose other fields, should we force them into tech? I'm trying to explain about systemic barriers and socialization. But they're looking at me like I'm speaking a foreign language. Not because they don't understand English, but because the framework I'm using doesn't resonate. Month 7, and something happens that shifts my perspective. One of the junior women on my team, Sarah, gets pregnant. In America, I've seen women stress about pregnancy announcements. Worry about being seen as less committed, losing opportunities. Sarah announces it casually in a team meeting. Everyone congratulates her, asks about due date. Klaus immediately asks when she wants to start parental leave. Explains she gets 14 weeks paid maternity leave, plus up to 3 years of protected parental leave if she wants. Her job will be waiting when she returns. Her partner can take time too, if they prefer to split it. Sarah seems happy, not stressed or apologetic. After the meeting, I realize something. In America, we fight to get women in the room. In Germany, they focus on making sure women can stay in a room. Different approach, different philosophy. Not sure which is better. Month 8, and I'm having dinner with Klaus and his wife. She's a doctor, works part-time, 3 days a week. I ask if she ever wanted to work full-time. She says she did until they had kids. Then she and Klaus decided she'd reduce hours. He took 2 months parental leave, she took a year. Now she works 60%, he works full-time. She makes less and advances slower. But she sees her kids, has time for herself, seems genuinely content. I can't tell if she's rationalizing or if this is actually working. Klaus says in America, everyone wants individual achievement. In Germany, we value collective well-being. His wife adds that she's still a doctor, still helping people, just in a way that fits her whole life. Why is that wrong? She asks. And I realize I've been judging it as wrong. Because it doesn't match American feminist ideals. Month 9, and I start seeing the positives differently. The women on my team do have flexibility I never had. They're not apologizing for taking vacation or leaving at 6. Nobody questions their commitment for having lives outside work. The social safety net means they're not dependent on jobs for healthcare, can take risks or time off without catastrophic consequences. Parental leave means having kids doesn't derail careers entirely. The labor protections mean they can't be fired at will. These are real structural supports that American women don't have. But here's what they don't have. Role models in leadership, women showing it's possible. Pressure to aim higher, encouragement to be ambitious. Cultural messaging that work achievement matters for women. It's a trade-off I'm only starting to understand. Month 10, and I propose a women's leadership development program. Design it carefully, optional participation, focused on skills. Present it to Klaus and the leadership team. They approve it but seem skeptical about interest. Send out invitations to all women in the company. Get 8 sign-ups out of 45 women. Run the first session, it's good, participants are engaged. But after the 3rd session, one woman drops out. Says it's interesting, but she doesn't have time. Her kids need her. She can't add more commitments. 2 others drop out after that with similar reasoning. End up with 5 participants out of 45 eligible women. The program succeeds for those 5, but the scale is disappointing. I realize you can offer opportunity, but can't force ambition. Month 11 and something clicks. I'm at a Christmas market with Martina and Lisa. We're drinking glühwein, talking about the year. I mention my frustration with the leadership program results. Elisa says she almost signed up but decided against it. Asks me honestly, why do you think I should want leadership? I start explaining about breaking barriers and representation. She cuts me off. No. Why should I specifically want it? What about my life makes you think I'm missing something? I don't have an answer. She continues, I like my work, I'm good at it. I leave at 6, I paint on weekends, I travel. My life is full, and I'm happy. Why is your version of success better than mine? Martina adds, American feminism says women should want what men want. German feminism says we should make all choices equally viable. Neither is wrong, just different values. I sit there with my glühwein realizing they're right. I've been imposing my definition of success, without asking if it's what they actually want. Month 12, and I'm having a review with Klaus. He says I've done good work on products, but I've struggled to understand the culture. That my American framing of feminism doesn't quite fit here. I admit he's right, that I came with assumptions. He says German women have fought hard for what they have. Parental leave, flexible work, strong labor protections. It's not the same fight as America, but it's still a fight. Just focused on different things. I ask what he thinks I should learn from this. He says maybe that equality can look different. That giving women genuine choice means accepting their choices. Even when those choices look traditional. That structures matter more than individual ambition. I sit with this for a long time. Year mark and I'm still in Munich. Contract extended. But my perspective has completely shifted. I still see the gender imbalances in leadership. Still think more women should be encouraged to aim higher. But I also see what German women have that American women don't. Time, security, genuine flexibility without career suicide. a social structure that supports caregiving, cultural acceptance that work isn't everything. These aren't small things. I video call my friend back in San Francisco. She's VP at her company now, working 70-hour weeks. Makes great money, has influence and impact. Also burned out, single, no time for anything but work. She asks about Germany, if it's as progressive as everyone says. I tell her it's complicated. They have fewer women in leadership than America, but better support structures for working mothers. A less focus on career advancement as the only success metric. More acceptance of part-time work and life priorities. She asks which is better. I tell her honestly, I don't know. American feminism got me in the room. German feminism might let me stay in a room if I have kids. Both matter. Both are incomplete. Month 14, and I'm mentoring one of the women from my leadership program. She's 32, just got promoted to team lead. First woman in that role at her level. She's nervous about balancing it with her life. Asks if I think she can do both. I tell her about my friend in San Francisco. About the German women who chose differently. Say there's no one right answer. But Germany gives her options America might not. She seems relieved to hear that. Says she wants to try for leadership. But it's good to know she can step back if it's too much. That flexibility matters more than I realized. Month 15, and I'm at another women's networking event. This time I listen more than I preach. Hear stories about maternity leave, about flexible schedules, about partners who actually parent, about work-life balance. But also about hitting glass ceilings, about being patronized, about struggling to be taken seriously in technical roles. The problems exist here too, just in different forms, with different support structures around them. One woman says, something that stays with me. American women fight to prove they can do everything men do. German women fight to make sure doing less isn't seen as less. Both are fighting patriarchy, just different battles. Neither has won yet. Month 16, and Klaus asks if I'm staying long-term. I tell him I'm not sure, still processing everything. He says Germany has made me more uncertain. In America, I was sure I was right. Here I'm not sure what right even means anymore. That's growth, he says. Certainty is comfortable but often wrong. I laugh because he's right. I came here expecting feminist paradise. Found something more complicated and more real. Germany didn't solve gender equality. Just approached it differently with different trade-offs. Anyway, that's my story. About taking a job in Germany expecting progressive workplace culture. And learning that progress isn't one-dimensional. That what looks like lack of ambition might be different priorities. That what looks like traditional might be supported choice. That structures matter as much as representation. And that American feminism isn't the only valid framework. I still think Germany needs more women in leadership. Still think the occupational segregation is a problem. Still see the ways gender roles constrain options. But I also see what they got right. The support for caregiving, the work-life balance. The idea that a good life might not include constant ambition. That flexibility without penalty matters. Neither country has it figured out. America pushes women to achieve like men. Germany supports women to choose traditional roles. Both claim its empowerment. Both are partially right and partially wrong. Real equality might be somewhere in between. Or maybe it's something neither culture has imagined yet. I'm staying in Germany for now. Not because it's perfect, but because it's different. Because seeing another approach helps me question my own. Because maybe the answer isn't in one place, but in learning from both.